Welcome to TMI with Teryl and Martha. We're so glad to have you here today. Please remember, if you're watching us on YouTube, to like and subscribe and also interact. Tell us what you like, what you
Please.
don't like. We want you to be a part of this discussion. We are very excited today to have our guest. And Teryl, tell us a little bit about him.
So we've been playing off camera here with me introducing my sweet, sweet friend here. This is Dr.
Kwabena Asenso-Okyere.
Kwabena Asenso-Okyere, and I was determined to say it because it's beautiful. It's a beautiful language. The language that you speak. I was
Ghanaian
actually,
language, true.
yeah.
Mhm.
So we met because he came right into the spa to have a massage, a walk-in, and we actually had somebody available to take care of him that day. It was also a day that I wasn't planning on being there, but I had to pick up food from locally grown, so I was buying some time before they did that. And down the stairs he comes, or out of the room he comes, and I was actually the person he really wanted to talk to because he has an incredible line of whipped shea butter and cocoa butter. And he has brought this to our community and beyond for us to get a real sensing of Ghana from where the product comes from. It's called Zarohi.
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 Yeah.
Cosmetics, and it's absolutely amazing. I probably use, everybody at the spa tells me I use way too much because I'm scooping my hand in there. It's not cheap, and I'm putting it all over because it's amazing. So I have gotten a bottle of it for my dear friend Martha to try out.
Because I'm always moisturizing.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about your background and all the things that you're doing and what your intention is behind this company and kind of where you want to see it go, etc.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it very much, Teryl and
my pleasure.
Martha. It's a pleasure to be here. I appreciate your time, and just the hospitality has been amazing. So yeah, my background being from Ghana, West Africa, I grew up in a very academic background. So my dad was very academic driven.
Right.
He was very disciplined. And I would say that I probably grew up a little bit more wayward than just the average person. I lost my mom quite early at the age of 7. Now, my dad remarried and had a very wonderful lady who is
Helped
my
to
mom.
raise you.
Yeah. And very phenomenal lady. But I think I was always looking for belonging somehow, some way, looking for love in the wrong places and things like that.
Bad
There's a
choices.
song about that. If you have, looking for love in all the wrong places.
Yeah, I have to go find
Who
that.
is it that sings that anyway?
Yeah. So through high school, then I came to college in the United States, and the rest is history. I went into IT as my field of profession, and I've always had this entrepreneurial mindset, thinking ideas, thinking creativity, something that I can do that can help change the world. I was looking for that one thing. And it started off with missions. It started off with ministry. It started off with loving the Lord. And again, just kind of the pathway that I took, it was natural that I would come into that experience of an encounter with the Lord. And that's kind of how it all started.
I love it.
I got married, and then I was like, I have to be more purposed with what I do. So my wife and myself and my kids, we started to look more into missions.
Right.
And missions for us was more of how could we take the gospel to the nations, to some of these disenfranchised places and people groups and things like that. So it started off with Ghana, obviously, and then it expanded to places like Tanzania, places like Rwanda, and things like that. And we were blessed to be able to finance it with a little bit of help from friends and family.
Oh, that's amazing.
But the vision is always big. And when it's a God vision, it's big.
Oh,
right?
you can't help but have a big vision.
As much as we were looking to subsidize it, we were like, how can we leverage some kind of entrepreneurial something to do that?
Right.
And I remember we were in a remote area in Ghana, and there were these old ladies who we support. These are widows and orphans. And then I said, how can we potentially give them a livelihood, and through that also find a way to establish some entrepreneurialness in what we're doing. And shea butter was what came to mind. Mind you, I have dry skin. You don't want to see me a couple of days. My kids laugh at me like, Dad, dry, go get some lotion on. So I'm always trying to moisturize, trying to keep myself healthy. And the skin is the biggest organ.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to take care of ourselves. And literally anything that affects us internally, a lot of times, because the skin is our defense system, the skin has been compromised by the time that we feel things on the inside.
That's true.
So I became an advocate for that. And coupled with just wanting to help these ladies to be able to have a living and take care of themselves, it helped us to be able to also sustain and fund the ministry. And so that's kind of how it started. So they farm these amazing, amazing products, these highest quality of seeds, of the shea butter seeds and cocoa butter. We import it, get it all the way here, and we do this small batch. My whole family, all hands on deck, until the kids are tired and they're like, Dad, I'm tired, I gotta go to bed. I'm like, okay. So at the end of the day, it's down to just getting all of this stuff done. And we've kind of got it down to a science now. It's just been the blessing of the Lord. And
let me tell you, it literally, you feel so much better the minute you put it on. It's got like a real quality to it that just soothes. It's very soothing. Yeah. And the thing that got me when he was talking to me about this product was, of course, the purpose drive behind it. I love when people are trying to save the world in some way, shape, or form. And I know that we're all connected through God that way, right? So, that looks different for everyone. But his mission was so sweet and so pure. And the product, he was showing me some befores and real before and after photos of people that had been using the product. And all I could say was, when can you come back? I really want to talk to you about this, because it met all the standards that I have for our spa, being a wellness spa. Not a lot of toxic additions. Right. Again, the skin is the largest detox organ in the body. Yeah. It's protective, and we need it to be cared for. Yeah. And so he brought me a jar of, and I didn't bring my brand, but I picked out Fiji, which is so good. And I went through the whole jar, that big jar, really quick. So probably didn't need to use all of it like that. But when I like something like that and I smell something like that, it's like a hug. I put it on and I just feel like I'm being hugged. Yeah. And it's just incredible.
Yeah, one of our slogans is "Feel good being you." Right? We really want people to feel their authentic self and be able to reflect that. I feel like when we're able to do that, we bring the best version of ourselves, and we add value to whatever communities and rooms that we find ourselves in.
So you talked about when God's involved, it's a big idea, right? Yeah. And certainly, Africa has been through so much, in the past 50 years, probably its whole existence, but especially, there's the population's very young because there were so many deaths of adults, and there's a lot of children that, it was a lot of problems. Right. And, but also when you think about it being big, I was reminded this week that my sons went on some mission trips when they were young. They're in their 40s now. And that the most impactful mission trips they went on were the ones to Appalachia, to an Indian reservation in America. Mm-hmm. And this is the best one in Orlando, in the shadow of Walt Disney World. There are a lot of communities of senior citizens that have been forgotten, that they moved down there in the 50s before Walt Disney World was there. Oh my goodness. And they built ramps and things like that. So it gave them this perspective of, being, a pretty blessed American family where we don't really have to worry where the next meal is coming from. We don't have to worry about not having what we need or even what we want, And I always was very sure to try to make sure to include them whenever opportunities came. And I'll never forget when my son came home for the one that was in South Mississippi at the Indian reservation. He said, Mom, I never thought there was that kind of poverty in America. Yeah. You just don't know it. So there's so
Yeah.
many battlefields, if you will. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Very
You're going to
true.
do a great job.
Very true.
I'm not trying to pull you away from Africa, but you can do
No.
a great job there. But there's such
Yeah.
There's a
opportunities
huge need.
There is.
because
huge
the
needs.
entrepreneurial spirit is really what's going to pull people out of poverty.
Absolutely.
You know,
absolutely.
It's not a government program.
Right.
It's not, I mean, they can help, and I've known lots of people that have done used, I think, government programs the way they should be used,
Right.
like as a stepping stone,
Yeah.
because, for 7, 8, 10 months, maybe a year,
Right.
while they got re-educated, while they
Yeah.
got something, because then it's a give and take,
Right.
as
That's right.
opposed to
Yeah.
Yeah.
just a take.
That's right.
And so there's a lot here. I think there's real opportunity here.
And I love that. I love that you say that. And I believe that charity begins at home.
Right.
The United States has now become home for me as much
Right.
as Ghana is.
Right.
And so, the Word of God talks about when you go out, look at your Jerusalem, your Judea, your Samaria, and then the uttermost parts, right? So I truly believe that we should also always be looking at our communities and where we are and see how we can make an impact as well. And I'm always looking for those opportunities. And so I'm glad I'm talking with you about that because I'm going to offline get some information so we can.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I
No.
truly want to be able to get the word out because it's just, for me, the advocacy of our skin. I've seen folks with, and I've come to realize that almost everyone has some kind of skin condition.
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
From eczema to psoriasis.
Wrinkles.
To
Just
No,
dry
just
skin.
kidding.
That's not a condition. That's just
kidding.
life, Teryl.
But it's amazing how shea butter does so well for
All kinds
the
of
wrinkles,
yeah,
the
truly.
stretch marks,
Yeah.
the scabs, the wounds, and the calluses, and all of these different things, even as a sun barrier,
But that
especially with the
affects
summer.
people's self-confidence. It affects people's hearts. It affects how they relate to other people.
Mhm.
And, when talking about entrepreneurial spirit, that takes someone who is confident and ready to face a challenge and do all the above. Like, how would you think your heritage, how does your heritage in Ghana translate into the products that we're able to use here? And tell me more about where you'd like that to go.
Yeah, great question. Thank you. Makes me dig deep. So, I say something about Ghanaians, right? Ghana, for me, one way to describe Ghana is hospitality. I always say that Ghanaians are people that you can show up in Ghana and be on the streets and say, hey, I'm lost. Martha, can you stop and show me how to get to point B from A? And you have found a friend for life.
Oh, wow.
They will stop
That's
everything
amazing.
that they're doing and take you there, and you're gonna go, okay, I'm good. You can go now. And they're going, you sure?
I'll go all the way
literally.
with you.
Yeah, and it's so true and real. And for me, when I think heritage, when I came to the United States, it was daunting. I mean, I was 19 when I came to college. I came with my bags and everything by myself, and I remember going through New York, then to St. Louis, then to Ames, Iowa, and all I remember
Iowa.
is that it was
Wow.
like this. The airports kept
So
getting
was it
smaller and
University of
smaller.
Iowa?
It was the Cyclones,
Okay.
Iowa State University.
Iowa State.
Yeah.
All right.
It just fewer people, smaller airports, and I was like, what's going on? But I think what helped me, and as much as I was trying to find myself at that young, tender age, was just my roots, just knowing that I'm Ghanaian. I have a language, I have a culture, I have a people group where I come from, and I knew my grandparents, and traditions were passed on. My dad and mom would take us to church, things like that. I had very good friends,
Right.
and for me, heritage is being able to pass on legacy from one generation to another.
Yeah.
And doing that in a way that is not destructive but constructive, in a way that is influential, in a way that is that shows relevance,
Right.
and also in a way that allows for you to pass on wealth as well.
Right.
There's a scripture that says that there was a Pharaoh who came to Egypt who did not know who Joseph was. And that's really how the slavery started in Egypt, way back in the biblical days. 430 years started off with somebody who did some really good in a place,
Right.
and all of that stuff was forgotten.
It was, yeah.
You know, so I want to be able to leave a mark that, you know, my son Papaya's in the background there. I want him to be able to see that and not just go, I know my dad did something good, but I really can't trace how
I
to.
can't say exactly what that is.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
so I'm this morning I was with my 9-year-old, and I was telling people, hey, she's a better salesperson than I am. So I'm going to have her pitch just to empower her so that she can feel the confidence to share.
Mm-hmm.
And she would naturally take over and do that. And she
9? That's amazing.
9. She's 9 going on 19.
9 years old.
But she's that good at it. And so heritage for me is legacy and being able to pass on those values and those virtues real time and while you're alive. To me, that's what wealth is. It's not not an inheritance you pass on to people, but it's
financially.
Who not what you pass on.
That's so interesting. I mean, it's, you know, culturally the immigrant experience, you know. So is your wife an American?
So my wife her mom is Ghanaian, her dad is German Jewish.
Wow. Oh wow!
Yeah, so
I love that.
Very
She's my
mix.
gosh, these are beautiful human beings too.
Yeah.
Let me just tell you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
I love that.
Yeah.
But she grew up in America.
Yes.
Okay, so that was a culture shock a little bit, right?
So she got the blessing of being able to go home because her mom is more Ghanaian than anyone in this room, right?
Yeah.
So she was very adamant about getting them integrated into the culture. So they would go sometimes a whole 3 months. And
wow.
And so I lived in the city in Ghana. When she would go home, she would live in the village.
Yes.
She would live in an area that I would dare go for like maybe a couple of weeks at most, right?
Yeah.
And so I feel like that was a blessing for her, and it helped us also to be able to assimilate into our marriage and into our personalities and our life experiences and lived experiences.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Was it an arranged marriage since it was the Ghanaian community?
Great question, Martha. It was not.
Okay.
Ghanaians.
I'm kind of for that, though. I'm kind of for that. Anyway,
it works in a lot of ways.
And it's interesting you say that. Yesterday, I was doing a photo shoot with a college girl who's goes to NYU. She's Indian, and I was asking her some questions, and she says, "Yeah, they do the arranged marriage and things like that." And there's some statistics out there that
I know
their marriages seem to last
longer, forever.
And
I mean.
I certainly believe in biblical values, and if you practice them, I believe that marriage can be sustained for the long haul.
Oh no, me too.
And so compatibility, I believe you can find that through God's word if you follow those principles as
well. Well, and you know, like a lot of friends that I have from India that have said, you know, I did not necessarily love this person upon the onset of the marriage. Yeah. But as we grew together, built whatever we were building together, our family, our children, I grew to love this person and love this person now, 20, 30 years later, in a way I don't know if I could have ever loved someone where if that was the only thing I was looking for. Right. Does that make sense?
Right.
You know, because...
Well, and it's just, Lord, we could go way down a rabbit hole here.
With that one.
but, I mean, there's just like a cultural... we went through this kind of, because I don't even like to call it the sexual revolution. You know, it's just, I like to call it the cultural revolution,
right?
Yeah, sure.
Where you started thinking, and it was kind of a whole bunch of things happened. Like men started getting in their car and going to work. That was right after World War II. You know, prior to that, mom and dad lived over the store, and everybody worked out there. Or if you had a farm, you know, mom cooked the meals. Took care of the kids. It was kind of like a collective kind of thing, not collective in the way you talk about it when you talk about communism, but collective in that you work together on these common goals, and you really did need each other.
Well, you just shared opportunities. Like, it's not like this is your job, this is my job. It was a common support network, and that people just knew this is what you're going to do. I'm going to do this, and they did it gratefully. You know, one of the things I'm seeing now is that men and women are trying to be like making everything fair and, if I do this, you're going to need to do that. And they're doing this thing where it's like, what are you going to be, roommates? That's roommates.
Yeah.
Are you going to be in a marriage? Are you in a marriage? Are you roommates?
Right.
Because if you're trying to split the duties up,
it's
50-50, that's just not
that never happens.
Ever work.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Run, don't walk away from that.
So as that relates to what you're doing with this, there's, you're dealing with widows in a lot of cases. So culturally, is it difficult for them to remarry? Is that something they don't do in the Ghanaian culture, or is it just there aren't enough men around, or whatever? What do you think that is?
I think for Ghana, Africa in general, there's probably a lack of infrastructure when it comes to that therapeutic side of life after widowhood.
Yes.
Even with orphans, right, which we support a whole lot of orphans as well.
That's amazing.
It just feels like the institution is let's give them a place where they can have community, but they're identified as widows, and that becomes sort of their pathway till the end of their whereas in the Western world, there's faculties, there's more institutions, more resources
that encourage,
and enable that. So you feel like, okay, life is not over.
Right.
I can do something more with my life.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's where I want to be able to play more of a role in not just helping them. I think this is kind of like a phase one where you're going, okay, what's the greatest need right now? Maslow's, hierarchy.
Right.
Needs is food, shelter. But then the next level is how can we rehab these women so that they can get back integrated into society? Sometimes they're even looked upon as scorn and folks who caused the death of the husband and all of these things, so they kind of get ostracized and things like that.
Pushed aside even from the culture.
Well, and if you look back in the early days of social programs in America, okay, they were designed, and it was very clear in the legislation, they were designed for widows and children. Because the idea was that if there was a man in the house, that he should be working and taking care of the family if he's able-bodied, And so there was a report that came out in the early 60s when Senator Daniel Patrick Moynihan was working for, he wasn't a senator then, but he was working for Richard Nixon. Moynihan was a Democrat. Nixon was a Republican, okay? And so, but in those days,
it was
I know
okay.
It's like, no, it wasn't even that it was okay. You were honored if the president asked you to do something and you didn't think about
a part of my party.
Right.
Yeah, you did it because, I think I could help in this area, and we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And so he talked about that, and he talked about the fatherlessness at that time they called it the Negro family back then. But he warned, he said, but we're seeing the same trends in white and Hispanic families too.
Right.
And we're seeing that. And so I think about, how something like this, because how you feel is really important. Yeah. And you've got to be able to face the day. When you've got difficulties, you've got to be able to face the day. Mm-hmm. And this seems like a luxury, what I mean? But it's really not.
Right.
It's something that you need.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's amazing you say that, Martha, because we also have this slogan where we say it's luxury that's affordable for the everyday person.
Yes.
Right. That's kind of another thing that we like to coin, because we want folks to be able to, we want to get into everyone's hands.
Yeah.
We want to make it affordable. And so we cut out the middleman. A lot of the folks that we've seen in the past, what they do is they will go get it from somewhere, and people inflate their costs so much because they're responsible for all these different aspects of it. And then the dangers also is, Teryl, is people add all these additives into things, synthetics, parabens,
to
things
keep
like
it
that, alcohol.
shelf-worthy, which is what I understand. I know with mass marketing, you have to make sure things can sit in a truck, in a warehouse, in a store for long periods of time. So they do, and
then they end up at 129 salvage.
yes.
Yeah.
Vaseline,
That's
put it
right.
on.
That's right.
petroleum jelly.
It's scary. It's really scary.
But
when
it's
you say
true.
that.
If it sits on the shelf too long, it
That's
ends
right.
up,
Yes.
either getting thrown away, and that's just a waste.
But
Right.
you know what's sad is that usually the people that cannot afford luxury are the ones putting the most toxic things on their skin for that reason alone. It's less expensive because they're being mass produced. Right. And because they're being mass produced, the cost can be driven down, and they have access to that. So my hope is that we are able to find, what is so different about this product as it relates to some of the other products you've seen out there? Because, how much can it grow without those things coming into play?
Yeah, and thanks for saying that, because I was going to, just to add to that and to answer your question, the effect of those things are some of the skin cancers that we see and things like that, right? And so that's one thing that I'm very particular about. Because I remember a lady reaching out to me once and said, hey, is there any way you can get me products that people can use to bleach and kind of look lighter? And I said, absolutely not. And she's like, it will make you a whole lot of money. And I went, not all money is good money, right?
That's right.
I'm not interested in it. So she realized that, and then she started to talk about the stuff that I actually had and stuff. But I would say that the key thing for us is going to the source, right? The irony of God's wisdom is that this product, the raw materials, is found in the most arid, driest parts of Ghana, the highest grade of shea butter.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
And so
That
God
makes
has planted,
sense.
Yeah.
that makes sense. And so we're going there to go get this stuff.
I mean, doesn't aloe grow in the desert mostly?
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Another one there, right?
There's another one.
So, so if we just kind of follow the trail of the man upstairs, I think we'll do just fine, instead of trying to do all these artificial things that.
So how long have you had this company?
So it's been about 1.5 years.
All right. So are there some success stories? Some of the women?
Well, yeah. I would say, first of all, we started off more as a distribution company. We would buy bulk and then distribute to big retailers and things like that. And then the Lord laid it on my heart that we need to start to do this so that we can interact. I'm a people's person. I love people.
He is very much.
I think that's why ministry also gravitates towards me, to be able to just help people. So I can have a conversation about this all day and still not make a sale and feel like
you had a great day.
Right?
Yeah, he goes home, his wife goes, how much did you sell? And he goes, nothing.
Right.
But it was so fun.
Right. So the business side of it is important equally, so that we can sustain and help folks. So I think that's what drives me, because every sale I'm thinking, okay, how much can we use to support? Because we do online, I was telling Martha offline earlier that we do online discipleship. So when we go to these countries and we connect with these folks and these local leaders, when I come back, we organize at different schools, different fellowships, and we're able to have teachings, mentorship, leadership training, development through Zoom. So I'm sitting there and I have a ton of videos where, from widows to orphans to students and vocational skill training, where we're doing this. So for $250, we're able to have a 2-hour session. Wow. We're feeding them, we're paying for the internet, getting everyone to the location.
Wow.
It involves quite a bit.
Yes.
But even more on their side logistically, right?
Right.
So I just love what we're doing.
So do they have a situation where the power's not on all day long and the internet's not on all day long? I had a student.
You must be in the room one of those days.
Yeah,
100%.
so I had a student. I'm a Rotarian, and one of the programs we do is GRSP, which you may have heard of, because we have students from Africa that come. But we had a student from Zimbabwe, and her parents came to visit. I mean, this is really such a touching story to me, because her parents came to visit and was telling us these kind of things, that they don't have internet all the time. But they have, because things are so bad, they have 3 children. Their life's work has been getting their children out of Zimbabwe. Wow. One got a soccer scholarship at a Florida college and ended up staying and teaching. Sydney came to the United States and went to Brunel and ended up marrying a U.S. Army soldier. And then the youngest girl is in hospitality in Spain. But they said, even though we know we won't see our children as often, we know there's no opportunity for them here.
Right.
And so they make that sacrifice of of not seeing their kids but once every 5 years.
Yeah.
But knowing that,
Yeah.
you know,
And
that
you know,
they're
I
better,
think we
they're in a
forget
better
about
place.
we
Yeah.
forget about
100%.
things like that, stories like that in this country. I think that's why it's so beautiful to be able to host somebody from outside the country or just have a chance to integrate and talk with people, because I think we forget
How blessed we are.
how blessed we are and how much other people have to struggle to just have the lives that we so easily kind of tend to fall into.
So
at times.
my husband had cancer 10 years ago, and he's doing great. He's having his scan next week. And so, you know, it's always nerve-wracking leading up to the scan because you just never know.
Yes,
But every morning and every night when we say our prayers, the first thing we say is, thank you, Lord, for another day.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lord, for another day. And then we thank God for our blessings, because it is an accident that we were born in the United States of America.
Right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's an
100%.
accident
Yeah.
that we've had this opportunity.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, pretty much my parents didn't have an education,
Right.
but they knew they wanted us to have an education. So
Right.
they sacrificed
The options
for
were
us to
there.
be able to do it. And then we've been able to pass that on to our kids. I don't know, my 13-year-old grandson, 12-year-old grandson, he's going to be 13 next month. He asked his father if he could go abroad for his birthday.
There you
I
go.
was like,
He's
Hey,
wanting to, I
you
think
know,
that's
a
great.
closed
I know,
mouth
but I
does
was
not get
thinking,
fed,
oh,
right? You might as
no.
well ask.
I
You never know. Shoot for the moon, land on
yeah, it
the
was
stars.
so funny. It was so funny because I'm thinking,
love
oh,
it.
y'all may
Yeah.
have spoiled them just a little bit, but that's okay.
You know what? I love it. I love it. And to answer your questions, you know, we've had several occasions where, and because I've grown up in Ghana, know that the landscape and the terrain, you kind of understand and empathize.
Yes.
Right.
We've planned. I'm doing these discipleship meetings sometimes 4 in the morning because it's an 8-hour time.
Oh, yeah,
Time
of
difference.
course.
Yeah.
And I'm studying, preparing for it. 4 in the morning, I'm logged in, ready to go. And then I get a call from the guy on the other side going, lights out.
Oh, no.
Electricity is gone. So
Yeah.
so we have to wait. And then
Oh, wow.
and they're waiting, I'm waiting.
Oh.
And sometimes they're in a building that they have to move to another building, and
Yeah.
it's a ton of these, you know, so all of those things happen.
Wow.
But resiliency. I mean,
Yes.
we were blessed to be able to. So when I'm on this side of the world, I'm like, yes, who am I to even question that? Like,
That's right.
they're sweating bullets running from one spot to the next, and I'm
Right.
just sitting there behind the AC,
just waiting
Yeah.
for
computer.
you, just waiting to
just
talk.
waiting to talk.
So
I'm like,
Andrew Young, who you may know who he is, he was a
Yes.
civil rights
Yes.
leader, just the most amazing person, a big capitalist, you know, just a wonderful guy.
Yes.
He doesn't believe in the finite pie, you know what I mean, that you can grow and grow.
Yeah.
But he said, because he was the first black mayor of Atlanta, and he
Yes.
said, he says, yeah, desegregation and air conditioning made the South rise again.
That's
I love that
great.
sense of humor.
That's awesome.
Now he can say that. He can
Yeah,
get
he
away with
can
saying
say that.
He
Yeah,
can say
he
it.
can say
What a
that.
He can
great,
say
great
that.
man.
Well, it was so great to have you here today. I'm going to call this ZC because that's what you did there.
Yeah.
But tell folks how they can find out more.
Absolutely. So we are online. We are at zarohicosmetics.com. That's ZarohiCosmetics. We can also be found currently in North Point Mall. We are in the co-op space out there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and there's a place called Green Street Spa, which
The spa
hint.
on Green
the
Street.
spa on Green Street. I
Yes,
should
it
say.
carries. I always have to help people because we've been known as the
Yeah.
Green Street Spa for years and years, and even our, governor, he was like the Green Street Spa, and I'm
Yes.
like, it's actually the spa on Green
There you
Street,
go.
and the only reason I corrected is because that's the actual name of the
Sure,
spa.
of course.
Yeah.
So you really kind of, if you want to look for it online or anything like that, it's
Yeah.
helpful to
But
do the right
come.
thing.
Very-
Yeah.
But
very
yes,
true.
he's got
Just
his
ask Mr.
products
Google.
there.
Just
Mr.
put in
Google
there
will
Green
find
Street
it.
Spa, and I bet you're the number
It'll
one thing
show
that
up.
comes up.
It'll show And so
Yeah.
Tara have been kind to carry our products in their store, and it's been amazing. We also do activation. So, for example, we're at Atlantic Station. Sometimes we're actually part of the World Cup coming up, which is
Oh,
How
fun.
exciting.
so we're doing 3 of those weekends. Actually, June, I believe the 10th and 11th. and then June the 17th and 18th, and we're doing July the 14th and 15th.
Okay.
So we've got our booth, and we meet every Wednesday with City of Atlanta to kind of talk through
That's
cool.
all
great.
logistics. So we're
So
super
you're
excited.
growing.
That's good.
It's definitely the blessings of the Lord has been.
It's
all
great for you to be in
over.
the Atlanta metro area.
Yes.
It's
and
a
we're
great
expanding
place.
Yeah.
to Texas as well.
Good.
My wife's doing a great job expanding there while I'm trying to expand on this side of the world. We've you asked a question earlier about success stories. Like one of the ones that we had right here in Gainesville, I met this lady and she was like, "Hey, look, I can't do any shea butter. We've got sensitive skin in my family," and she showed me a picture of her son, psoriasis all over, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, "Try our unscented shea butter," and she was like, "Reluctantly, I'll try it." So she bought 2 bottles, and in a week, but she followed me on Instagram. In a week, she sent me a video, showed me a before and after, and it was like night and day.
Oh,
He
wow.
showed me that. I
Yeah.
think that's what you showed me.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
That's
difference in
great.
her face
Mm-hmm.
from one week to the next was pretty
Amazing.
incredible.
Yeah.
Like
That's-
you would typically only see with pharmaceutical intervention on that type of.
We
Wow.
felt so blessed by that. I remember we went to Texas, my whole family, and my wife had previously done an activation there, and we went to another location, and this lady walks up to us and goes, "You guys are the ones that sold us that shea butter. My daughter's walking around somewhere." She called her daughter. Her daughter came over, and her daughter's legs was eczema all over and gone.
Oh, that's great.
Great.
Yeah, so
That's so great.
So
So,
we
yeah.
have all these amazing stories, but for me, it's really being able to give back.
Yes.
It's ultimately what it's almost like a social enterprise
Mm-hmm.
for me, and just a mission filled, really, to be able to tell people about how they can feel good, feel confident about who they are in their skin, smell good, all that good stuff, right?
Mhm.
And we're doing it all on biblical principles, and everything that is purchased, there's a portion that goes to support these orphans, these widows, and to do missions where we take the gospel to the nations. So
That's so great.
I feel like we're fulfilling purpose and
Mhm.
meeting really cool people along the way. So it's exciting. It's really, really.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much for being with us today. And we love telling the stories, and we
Yeah.
want you to like and subscribe and give us some comments and tell us about that. And I hope you go by the spa on Green Street and get some of this product, but because I think you'll love it.
Yes, and Martha and I, again, we are enchanted and just so thrilled to be able to have such an incredible soul on our podcast. Please look for him. Please come and support his mission, if nothing else. But look into the Zarohi
Zarohi. I know it can be a tongue
Cosmetics.
twister. Zarohi. And
I'm-
we're on
I'm-
Instagram and we're on
Yeah,
TikTok
you can
and all
find
that
them on
too.
Instagram,
Zarohi
TikTok,
Cosmetics.
all of the above. And we will continue to probably talk about things of this nature because Martha and I know that your wellness deserves a little oversharing.